chief administrative officer, or any commission director be physically present at the commission's regular meeting locations. This meeting is being conducted entirely through telephonic means. All commissioners can hear one another and can hear all discussion and testimony, and all votes will be conducted by roll call vote. Members of the public were and are invited to participate in this meeting by watching live on the NWSCC website or through Zoom. Mr. Chair, take it away.
All right, thank you, Mike. Morning, everyone. We'll call the commission meeting to order. The two items under consent. One is the minutes and one is the treasurer's report. Do you want to comment an adjustment on the minutes, Mike?
Sure, Mr. Chair. Just want to point out, our attorney, Mike Bradley, pointed out that he noticed that under the minutes, it says all consent and action items were done by voice vote at the November 18th meeting. Actually, that should say roll call vote. And so the minutes that we put online were corrected, and the minutes for the official record reflected that, along with all the voice votes that were taken in each item. So we'll just need approval of the minutes with that amendment.
I'll move approval, Norris, with that amendment.
I seconded. All those in favor of the minutes as adjusted, say aye.
Aye.
Are you going to do roll call, Mike?
Aye.
Yes, we have to do roll call. Go ahead, Wendy. Wendy, you're muted.
Daryl Sanis.
Aye.
Hazit Parmar.
Aye.
Risika Adisagan. Sorry, Risika.
Morning. Adisagan, Risika, present.
Ann Norris.
Aye.
Roger Bergman.
Aye.
Al Madsen.
Aye.
Bill Leaf.
Aye.
Kirk McDonald.
Aye.
Riley Grams. Riley.
Aye. Yep, aye. Sorry,
Emily Kastner.
Aye.
Jim Willis.
Aye.
Bill Blonigan.
Aye.
George Selman.
Yes.
Did I miss anybody?
Minutes are approved. Next item is treasurer's report. If there are no adjustments to that, I would ask for a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Seconded, Grams.
I don't know who moved it. Who made the first motion?
Roger.
Roger. And who seconded? I'm sorry.
Riley.
Riley. Okay, roll call. Daryl Sanis.
Aye.
Hazit Parmar.
Oh, sorry, aye.
Risika Adisagan.
Oh, yes. Hello. Aye.
Ann Norris.
Aye.
Roger Bergman.
Aye.
Al Madsen.
Aye.
Bill Leaf.
Aye.
Kirk McDonald.
Aye.
Riley Grams.
Aye.
Emily Kastner.
Aye.
Jim Willis.
Aye.
Bill Blonigan.
Aye.
George Selman.
Yes.
Motion's been approved. First item under action items is the introduction of new members. Mike?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would like to introduce two brand new members. First is Risika Adisangan, who is from the city of Brooklyn Park. She is the communications manager with the city. She's a lifelong resident of the city of Brooklyn Park and has served previously as press secretary to the Minnesota Secretary of State and also served as deputy communications director. Previously to these two positions, Risika also worked for the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. So welcome, Risika, to our board and commission. Good to see you. Thank you.
Welcome.
And then we have Paul Nadeau. He was elected by the CREATE members last November and December to serve on the board. Paul is an active volunteer producer and lives in the city of Crystal. Paul has worked for 34 years in the film and television industry. He produces a car show called Garage and has worked in the Las Vegas television and radio market for many years. And Paul was one of the early volunteers in our studio dating back to 1987. So welcome, Paul, and welcome, Risika, to the board and the commission. And both Risica and Paul did go through the orientation sessions.
Welcome. Next item under the action items is a designation depositories. Mike?
Yes, Mr. Chair, again, this is mostly a housekeeping item that we do each year because the Minnesota law requires that the governing body states where the funds will be held for the organization. And the staff recommendation is that the Northwest Suburbs Cable Communications Commission designate Wells Fargo and Wings Financial Credit Union as depository for our regular operating funds, and the designation for investment depository shall be LPL Financial.
So I'll move approval of the depositories. McDonald.
Norris, second.
Roll call. Daryl Sanis,
Aye.
Hasid Parmar,
Aye.
Risica Atasagan,
Aye.
Ann Norris,
Aye.
Roger Bergman,
Aye.
Al Mattson,
Aye.
Bill Leith,
Aye.
Kirk McDonald,
Aye.
Riley Grahams,
Aye.
Emily Kastner,
Aye.
Jen Willis,
Aye.
Bill Blonigan,
That was an aye.
George Selman,
Yes.
Get everybody, Wendy?
yes, I did.
Okay, motion's been approved. Next item is the approval of the executive committee's recommendation to appoint Dave Kaiser as the incoming executive director due to the upcoming retirement of Mr. Johnson. Mike, you want to have any comments on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, as everyone's aware, that I did make an announcement in November of last year that I'll be retiring at the end of April, which marks my 40th year working in the Northwest Suburbs. Assistant Executive Director Dave Kaiser, who has been with this organization as long as I have from the very beginning and well known by all of you and well qualified for the position, was interviewed in person in a group setting with all 5 executive committee members. Following the in-depth interview discussion among the members afterwards, the committee decided to make a unanimous recommendation to the full commission that Dave Kaiser be appointed as executive director effective May 1st, 2022. This recommendation was contingent upon a background check, and Dave passed the background check with flying colors. I don't know if I told Dave that, but it's official. You passed the background check. And the executive committee's recommendation is to approve that unanimous recommendation to appoint Dave as executive director effective May 1st, 2022, and designate the Northwest Suburbs Cable Communications Commission chair to sign an employment agreement subject to legal review by the commission attorney.
Any questions from commission members regarding this item?
Congratulations, Dave.
Bill has a question.
Bill Blonigan.
Yeah,
Bill?
I would just say that the executive committee conducted an extensive, long interview of Dave Kaiser. And then after that, Shannon Slatton Schwartz for different purposes, basically. And we unanimously recommended that Dave be appointed the executive director. We each had many questions. We formulated really a list of questions, but we used script and we went off script. We all thought that Dave has done a great job. We all thought that Dave would make an excellent future executive director, and he performed great as far as answering the questions. He was open, honest. He had many different strengths that we could go all over the country and find someone else maybe that was equal, but it'd be hard to find somebody that was better, especially given his background here. And so with that, for discussion purposes, if anybody else wants to discuss this, I would like to move that we adopt that resolution and appoint Dave Kaiser as the executive director commencing May 1st, I believe it is. And I think I know all the executive commission members by heart, but maybe after the second, Mike can list who was there.
This is
Motion was
Ann
made.
Norris.
Is
I
there a second?
I'll ditto what Bill said and second the motion.
Okay, Bill, the executive committee, as you were asking, is Al Mattson, Ann Norris, Bill Blonigan, Therese Kaiser, and Jim Willis.
No, that would be Kimberly Sandberg.
Oh,
who's not-
Sandberg, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
she is
sorry,
not at the
Sandberg.
meeting today, but she was in the interview process and agreed with the recommendation.
That's
Dave
correct.
survived it. No worse for wear, so.
All right, roll call with Bill and motioning and seconding. Roll call. Daryl Sanis,
Aye.
Hasid Parmar,
Aye.
Risika Adisagdan,
Aye.
Ann Norris.
Aye.
Roger Bergman,
Aye.
Al Mattson,
Aye.
Bill Leaf,
Aye.
Kirk McDonald,
Aye.
Riley Grams,
Aye.
Emily Kastner,
Aye.
Jim Willis,
Aye.
Bill Blonigan,
Aye.
George Selman.
Yes.
Motion's been approved. Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Next item is the adoption of resolution 2022-001, adding an authorized signer to the Wings financial checking account. Mike, you have any comments on that?
Yes, you're talking about resolution number 2022-2002, the one for the Wells Fargo checking account? That one?
Wings.
The Wings financial
Wings.
checking
One
account,
above it.
number
Oh, I
4,
must- you're right. I put this one down. Yes. Correct. That's a
2022-001.
Perfect. Thank you. That now that Dave will become official executive director May 1st, that the Northwest Suburbs Cable Communication Commission add Dave Kaiser as an authorized signer for the Wings financial checking account. We just need a motion and a
I'll move approval, McDonald.
Grams.
Motion been made, seconded. Wendy, roll call.
Roll call. Daryl Sanis,
Aye.
Hasid Parmar,
Aye.
Risika Adisagdan,
Aye. You're doing great.
thank you, Ann Norris,
Aye.
Roger Bergman,
Aye.
Al Mattson,
Aye.
Bill Leaf,
Aye.
Kirk McDonald,
Aye.
Riley Grams.
Aye.
Emily Kastner,
Aye.
Jim Willis,
Aye.
Bill Blonigan,
Aye.
George Selman.
Yes.
Motion's been approved. Now, next item is the adoption of resolution 2022-002. That's the authorized signers for the Wells Fargo checking and savings. Mike?
That is correct. We want to add both Bill and Dave on that. Bill was already on the one for the Wings, so we did not need to do that. But we just want to make sure that our paperwork is in order with Wells Fargo as well, and make sure that both of the names are approved at the same time. And so we're just asking for approval that they can both be signers on the Wells Fargo checking accounts and savings account.
Need a motion to approve that resolution?
Norris, move approval.
I'll second McDonald.
Motion made and seconded. Wendy?
Daryl Sanis,
Aye.
Hasid Parmar,
Aye.
Risika Adisagdan,
Aye.
Ann Norris,
Aye.
Roger Bergman,
Aye.
Al Mattson,
Aye.
Bill Leaf,
Aye.
Kirk McDonald,
Aye.
Riley Grams,
Aye.
Emily Kastner,
Aye.
Jim Willis,
Jim, can you hear?
I can hear.
Okay.
Jim Willis,
I said,
Okay.
Okay.
We just lost your audio for a little bit, Jim.
Bill Blonigan,
Aye.
George Selman.
Yes.
Motion's been approved. Next action item is to receive and file official notification from Comcast of their intent to begin the franchise renewal process. Mike?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I received a letter on January 24th. This truly is the beginning of the process now that it is official, and I'm very happy to say we have Mike who will be doing a little presentation about what's involved with our franchise renewal. But
Now you're leaving us.
yeah, well, it's a 2-year process, so I figure maybe now's a good time, and you can start fresh and with a because I was through the last process and the last process before that. So anyway. Carly Werner, who's the Senior Director of Government and Regulatory Affairs, wrote the letter. And it actually went out to not just us, but every single city received a letter. And then when that happened, I also alerted the cities that, for maybe a new city manager who may not be aware, because we don't do franchising every single year, that it is the Joint Powers Agency that does the negotiating of the franchise agreement. But every city did receive that. So attached to is the letter that I did get that you can see from Comcast, and the NWSCC Executive Committee will review a resolution that will begin the renewal process at a meeting that we'll hold at some point in March. And so this is basically to receive and file. I'm not clear on rules on if it's a receive and file, if it requires a vote for that. I don't know if the attorney can let us know that.
Yes, I would do a vote to receive and
Okay.
file.
All right.
Do we need a motion to,
Mr.
or?
Mr. Chair. Yeah,
Need
probably.
a motion to accept this.
Norris, move acceptance of the letter or receipt of the letter.
Second, Grams.
Motion's been made and seconded. Wendy?
Daryl Sanis,
Aye.
Hasid, excuse me, Hasid Parmar,
Aye.
Risica
Aye.
Adagodson, Ann Norris,
Aye.
Roger Bergman,
Aye.
Al Mattson,
Aye.
Bill Leaf,
Aye.
Kirk McDonald,
Aye.
Riley Grams,
Aye.
Emily Kastner,
Aye.
Jim Willis,
Aye.
Bill Blonigan,
Aye.
George Spellman.
Yes.
Motion's been made, seconded, approved. Thank you. Information items. Mr. Bradley?
Mike, can you hear us? Mike Bradley.
Sorry,
There we go.
Mike?
I should know by now that I need to turn the mute off. Or anyway, good morning,
Information item.
everybody. I just wanted to make one notation on our legal report, just to keep you up to speed on where our case is with the appeal of the FCC's cable franchising order. I think I reported at the last meeting that that case in the Sixth Circuit has been appealed to the United States Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to take this case and many others up in conference tomorrow. So we should know fairly soon whether or not our case will be heard by the United States Supreme Court. Once they make that decision, we'll let the commission know immediately, what our next steps will be going forward. But I just wanted to keep that on your radar. Mike, are we going over the cable franchising renewal part?
Yeah,
now,
because we
or-
had the legal report follow your presentation. So if there's anything else you want to mention on the legal update, you can do that after this, however you want to handle it. But I do have the presentation lined up for the screen.
Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and do that then? I think that's the most pressing thing for the commission.
Okay, it's up.
Okay.
There we go. We got the front page.
Are you putting this? There
Yeah.
we go. Okay. So we can scroll ahead to the slide that says background.
Okay, there we
Sorry,
go.
I'm participating very remotely, so I'm not in my office, and I'm sorry I'm not in my attorney uniform today. So my apologies. I just wanted to go over some real basic background, and Mike really kind of covered it when we were doing the receive and file of Comcast letters commencing the renewal process. But just some basic information. The the commissioners that have been with us for a long time, well, this is old hat for them, but for some of the newer members, this may be helpful. Our commission was founded, I believe, in the early 1980s, and it's what's called a 238 commission, and 238 refers to a chapter in Minnesota statutes chapter 238, which is the Minnesota Cable Act. And the importance of how the commission was formed is that the commission is actually the franchising authority. So our commission will grant a cable franchise that covers the entire territory of the member cities. Comcast, in order to do business in the member cities of the commission, Comcast has to have a franchise. And so it has and has had since the early 80s a cable franchise with the commission. And it's a very important document for Comcast as well as for us, but for Comcast, it gives them that authority to provide cable service and to operate a cable system in your member cities. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So there's a couple of main documents that you should all be aware of when we're talking about cable franchising. The first one I think is pretty obvious, and that's the cable franchise agreement itself. And that current document was approved back in September 2014. That, to me, Mike, that doesn't seem that long ago, but apparently it's getting to be a long time ago now. It was for a 10-year term. That franchise expires in 2024. What might not come to mind right away is that the commission actually has its own cable code. And so the commission adopted a master cable ordinance back in 2002. And so that has a number of terms and conditions in addition to the cable franchise that all cable operators have to comply with. Right now we have one franchise cable operator, that's Comcast, but as many of you know, we had a second cable operator in CenturyLink, and they had to comply with those rules as well. We can move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so the cable franchising process is mostly laid out in the Federal Cable Act, and so you'll see that there is actually two different processes that are contemplated by the Federal Cable Act. One is the informal process, and the other is the formal process. And the informal process is really, in simplest terms, it's simply contract negotiations. So we sit down, we visit with Comcast, and we work out a cable franchise agreement. The other process, the formal process, is a very detailed adjudicative process that ultimately results in an administrative proceeding. We will initially, at least, be moving forward with Comcast on the informal process, but we'll be talking more about that with the executive committee and then the full body as we move forward, just to kind of let you know kind of what the process is, timelines, etc. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Just a quick reminder. I think we did a similar reminder when we were doing the CenturyLink franchising, but in Minnesota, the cable franchising process is a quasi-judicial process. And so that means that it's very important for commission directors and CCX board members, I would suggest, to not take positions publicly, to not post anything on social media, to make sure that you're keeping an open mind at all times related to Comcast request for franchise renewal. We can go to the next slide. I don't want to belabor that too terribly much. We did have a slide in your packet on best practices. That might not be completely applicable right now, especially while we're in the informal contract negotiation phase. But it is important to let us know, when Comcast is reaching out to you. Go ahead, next slide. So the recommended action, I'm pleased to say you've already taken it. You've received and filed Comcast letter commencing the renewal process. As Mike said, we've prepared a resolution that kind of more formally commences the renewal process for the commission. We'll be looking at that, like Mike said, at an upcoming executive committee meeting. And then that eventually will come to the full body, probably at the next full cable commission meeting. And then lastly, because the last time we looked at I think the last time that the master cable ordinance was really reviewed was when it was adopted in 2002. So it will be important for the executive committee to review that cable code, with staff, and we'll move forward from there. And we go to the next. Yeah, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about the cable franchise, cable ordinance, the cable process generally. But just know that we're just starting on this process. Comcast was required to send this letter to us in the 30 to 36 months prior to the franchise expiring.
Any
But happy to
questions
answer
for
any
Mr.
questions
Bradley?
that you might have.
Anybody have any
This is-
questions for Mike?
Mr. Chair, this is Bill.
Bill?
So most of us probably know Mike, but it'd probably be a good idea for you to explain what that one slide meant in that we're supposed to disclose ex parte communications.
Sure. So, Mike, if you could go back to that
Sure.
slide. But when you receive information and communications from Comcast, you should disclose that. You can do that by advising your executive director, and we can at the next commission meeting, we can accept that information into the record. And then, like I said, in that last bullet point, just it's important to refrain from taking any positions related to the cable franchise. So, and that may be different from other processes that you might be used to, which is kind of the reason why I raised it to begin with, is just refrain from taking any positions on social media, and even at the meetings themselves. It's just important to receive information, factual information, and then make decisions as need be for the cable commission.
Any other questions for Mr. Bradley? Okay. The chore
Otherwise,
is ahead
Mr.
of
Chair,
us.
as far as my legal report, the legal report's in the packet. I've already discussed briefly the City of Eugene case. And happy to
Thanks,
answer any other questions that you might have.
If not, we'll move on to the third item on information items, communications. Johnson?
Yes, yeah, Mr. Chair, just, and I'm not going to go through them all, but I will say this, we included, you'll see this impact report from Comcast. I came across that online, and it's quite a significant project. I mean, obviously, Comcast is a lot. They have billions and billions of dollars. And so they have made some major commitments to, you know, all kinds of things. And I think we only put the cover on here because this goes into, or maybe this one has more than the cover. No, just basically the cover itself of this impact report, which is a total of almost 75 or 80 pages of all the different things they're doing throughout the country to have an impact on social justice and you know, workplace settings, the whole works. It's very interesting report. Each of you have that in your packet, and so if you get some time, definitely take a look at it. It's the first year that it has just been this robust, and so I wanted to just point that out, that we have that, and if anybody else needs an extra report, we can get some more to you. And then beyond that, it's Comcast celebrated Black History Month by spotlighting Black storytellers. This is Black History Month in February. And then also the fourth quarter and full year 2021 results, you will see that Comcast brought in $116.4 billion in revenue. And you see to the right side of the screen kind of the three business aspects of their business in terms of revenue overall. So the Xfinity / Comcast is we fit in that Xfinity world. So that's really the biggest part of their pie. They brought in $64 billion in 2021. And then NBC Universal, again, they own NBC, Universal Studios, a lot of different cable channels that operate under the NBC umbrella. And then Sky Television, which is basically a European venture. So that is their revenue, and you can see 2020 compared to 2021, and the numbers are up in revenue. You know, from 103 billion to 116 billion, 2020 to 2021. And then this is fourth quarter financials here. The rest was full year, but again, you see the numbers have increased. So all in all, Comcast is still in great financial position. And again, a lot of that is due to you know, their internet and overall broadband services. You know, video itself, where we get most of the franchise revenue is, you know, there was only like a 1.2% increase in that, but you know, they're still strong everywhere else. So it's something to look at when you get to the franchising process as the video subscribers start to go down, and they're, you know, obviously they're going down. You know, is there a way to capture any other revenue sources through that, since they're running the same lines in the public rights of way throughout our streets? Something to look at. Then quickly, there's a FCC memorandum news release that Chairman Rosenworcel announced a task force to prevent digital discrimination, basically redlining, that type of thing, where you know, maybe in the past where you'd see providers not going into neighborhoods because they you know, they weren't the quote unquote the rich neighborhoods, and so all these rules are in place to prevent that from happening. And then they're also committing $126 million in emergency connectivity funds to support students, schools, and libraries for internet service. So that's that from the FCC. And this streaming video, SVOD stands for streaming video on demand. There was over 32 billion spent on streaming services, and again, that is something that is really, that is what's happening now. That is kind of the future, the present and the future. I mean, we got into streaming, and luckily we did many years ago, because that is where, you know, that's where the viewers are in these streaming things, through using broadband and you know, getting like Netflix or Amazon Prime and all that. So it's a huge investment by for the entertainment dollar, so to speak. So that's that in terms of communications, Mr. Chair.
Any commission members have any questions for Mike? If not, we'll move on to the announcement of Commissioner McDonald going to retire.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I was informed by Commissioner Kirk McDonald that he is going to be retiring officially on June 1st, unless the mayor talked him into staying again. Just a quick note about Kirk. He has been on the Cable Commission for 15 years. And he'll be, and his last meeting will be on the 19th. So it's not official goodbye yet to Kirk, but it is official notification that he will be retiring. And I certainly I won't be part of the May meeting, but I personally want to thank Kirk for all of his work with the commission over the years. And we'll also mention that when we get to the CCX Media Board meeting, because he also served in that committee as well. So we're just wanted to point out that, well, we'll have to put up his face here too. There's Kirk. There he is. And just thank him for his dedicated service. I know he'll be recognized at the May meeting as well, but we just wanted to mention that the announcement has been made. So thank you, Kirk.
You bet. You bet.
Any comments you want to make, Kirk, or you want to hold those off till May?
No comments at this time.
Okay, all right, very good. Anything else to come before the commission? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn. McDonald.
Norris, second.
Wendy, roll call.
Gerald Sanis,
Aye.
Hassan Parmar,
Aye.
Risika Adasagan,
Is Risika still on?
I believe I was muted. Apologies.
Ann Norris,
Aye.
Roger Bergman,
Aye.
Al Mattson,
Aye.
Phil Leith,
Aye.
Kirk McDonald,
Aye.
Riley Grams,
Aye.
Emily Kestner,
Hi.
Jim Willis, Bill Blonigan,
Aye.
George Selman.
Yes.
Commission is adjourned. Marcia.
We have to read that same script before Marcia starts.
Yeah, I probably should. I will do that.
Is it the
real
same,
quick.
Brett?
It's the same language. Is that, since the meetings are still, I can definitely read that real quick if you'd like, Madam Chair.
I think you could do a shorter version.
Okay, let's see if I can shorten this. Let's see. Well, on
Consistent
February,
with- Yeah,
yeah, on February 11th, it was determined by the corporation's executive director, issued a written determination that we cannot meet in person. The meeting is being conducted entirely through telephonic means. All board members can hear one another and discuss with all discussion and testimony, and all votes will be conducted via roll call vote. Members of the public were and are invited to participate in the meeting by watching live on the Cable Commission website. And by the way, that is repeated as well throughout, and a kind of a permanent digital record of the meeting, and or participating on the Zoom conference.
thank you. So we're ready to get going, and roll call, please.
Risika Adagasan,
Here.
Ann Norris,
Here.
Cheryl Weiler,
Here.
Al Mattson,
Here.
Kirk McDonald,
Here.
Riley Grams,
Here.
Emily Kestner,
Here. Sorry.
Marcia Glick,
Here.
Joni Clausen,
Here.
Gerald Sanis,
I'm here.
Roberta Reindorf,
She's not here right now. She had to step out.
okay, Paul Nato.
Yes.
Okay, and welcome to our two new members. I know they were announced at the previous meeting, so welcome, welcome. Our first item is the consent agenda. The minutes and the treasurer's report and we noted a update to the minutes at the previous meeting, and the same applies here.
That is correct, where we just are just changing the minutes to, instead of the votes being taken at the last meeting by voice vote, they were actually taken by roll call vote, and was all corrected on the electronic version of the agenda that was put out after the fact, as well as in the permanent record here. So we just need the minutes approved based on those amendments, Madam Chair.
Norris, I'll move approval of the consent agenda with the minutes corrected as noted.
I second it. Joni Clausen.
Okay, moved and seconded, and a roll call.
Jessica Adagatson.
Aye.
Ann Norris,
Aye.
Cheryl Weiler,
Aye.
Al Mattson,
Aye.
Kirk McDonald,
Aye.
Riley Grams,
Aye.
Emily Kastner,
Aye.
Marcia Glick,
Aye.
Joni Clausen,
Aye.
Gerald Sanis,
Aye.
and you said Roberta's off right now?
Correct.
Paul Nato.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Then we have some items related to our checking accounts and investments.
That's correct. Similar to on the Cable Commission side, Minnesota law requires each of the government bodies to approve the depositories of public funds. And again, the staff recommendation is that the CCX Media Board of Directors designates Wells Fargo and Wings Financial Credit Union as depositories for the regular operating funds, and the designation for investment depositories shall be LPL Financial.
I'll move approval of the depositories. McDonald.
Second,
Norris,
Grams.
second. Oh,
Okay,
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Jessica Adagatson,
Aye.
Ann Norris,
aye.
Cheryl Weiler,
Aye.
Al Mattson,
Aye.
Kirk McDonald,
Aye.
Riley Grams,
Aye.
Emily Kastner,
Aye.
Marcia Glick,
Aye.
Joni Clausen,
Aye.
Gerald Sanis,
Aye.
Paul Nato.
Aye.
Okay. Go ahead. Now we've got the checking account items, the first and then another one.
Sure. Staff is recommending that the CCX Media Board of Directors add Bill Blonigan and Dave Kaiser as authorized signers on the CCX Media Wells Fargo checking account.
Okay, is there a motion?
Norris, move approval.
Second, Grams.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Roll call.
Jessica Adagatson,
Aye.
Ann Norris,
Aye.
Cheryl Weiler,
Aye.
Al Mattson,
Aye.
Kirk McDonald,
Aye.
Riley Grams,
Aye.
Emily Kastner,
Aye.
Marcia Glick,
Aye.
Joni Clausen,
Aye.
Gerald Sanis,
Aye.
Paul Nato.
Aye.
Okay, the next one is recommendations from donations from last year.
Sure. Madam Chair, resolution number 2022-004 is just accepting donations to CCX Media in the months of November and December of 2021. We took a first stab at the Give to the Max fund drive, and we got into it pretty much late into the season, but staff would like to continue that next year with basically doing more with our fundraising efforts. So we're just recommending that the board pass the resolution accepting these donations, and we want to thank all the people that donated.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'd make a motion to accept the donations. McDonald.
I second it. Joni Clausen.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Nice to see lots of board members on there. So roll call.
Jessica Adagatson,
Aye.
Ann Norris,
Aye.
Cheryl Weiler,
Aye.
Al Mattson,
Aye.
Kirk McDonald,
Aye.
Riley Grams,
Aye.
Emily Kastner,
Aye.
Marcia Glick,
Aye.
Joni Clausen,
Aye.
Joe Sanas,
Aye.
Paul Nato.
Aye.
Okay, and the annual report.
Okay, yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just gonna pardon my scrolling through some of these slides here. We'll get to the report here coming up right about now. Well, here, let me go right about there. Just wanted to mention, this is the 10th year for our annual report. Very proud of it. It's a great way to recap of what happened in the previous year. Basically, we covered general administrative information, news, election coverage. We didn't have a lot of election coverage, but it was an off year, but we'll show that within the report. Sports, cities, create, CCX Studios, which is more of our arm to bring in additional revenue, digital media, and then supplemental information. We do have a special section on the historical timeline of the board and the commission, which I'm very anxious to point out and proud of all the work that Wendy put into that in the research on that information. So we'll get into that right here, right now. So here's the cover of the report. You all have this report. This report is in digital format and will be on our website, officially placed in a spot after this meeting that people can go to it, along with all the other reports we have in there. So this theme is changes on the horizon, and I mean, you could look at that from many perspectives. One is I think Wendy picked that out and said, hey, you're leaving, and how about if we say there's change, and there will be change. And so we're very happy that Dave has been appointed to be the next executive director. And just some of the cover photos, we have Shannon in the top right hand corner with a representative from North Memorial Medical Center on her newsmaker segment, and then our sports folks out on the top right covering events on site. Of course, Dave Kaiser and Bill Blonigan, the lower left of the screen, and Dr. Rashida Watts, who works on a Diversity Minute segment with our CCX team. So that's they're highlighted on the cover. I'm not going to read this letter. You can read that later, but I just wanted to say that you know, later on in the report, I talk about the last 40 years, and so we'll get into that. But I just really want to thank all the staff people, and of course, first the Cable Commission members who served in 2021, and all the board members who served in 2021 for the Northwest Community Board of Directors. It was changed to CCX Media Board midstream, so that'll be reflected in future presentations. Here's some of the staff people. You'll see on my name, even though I've been around 40 years, it's 36. Well, now in 2022, 37 years. Gets a little convoluted because the Cable Commission didn't take over local programming efforts until about 1985. My previous years were with the cable company, as were Dave's and Tim Gaffron's. We all three of us worked with the cable company in local programming. So there you see administration, special projects with Tamisha, Javier and Trudy with Create, and Cities with Tim, Beth and Chris, and technical services. People kind of keep these things all on the air, like Jamie Anderson is the person running this meeting right now, and Sean does of all of our network services. Of course, our news team you see here with Shannon and her team. And we just, Neil Persley has just moved on to, actually moved to the state of North Carolina. So you will not be seeing Neil on the air, but you will see an amazing piece. If you go to our website, you'll see an amazing story about Neil and all the stories he did. So he will definitely be missed. Our sports team with John, Jason, Isaac, and Jay, and then Steve and Dustin and David and creative services. And then all of our part-time staff. Some of you people at the cities may recognize some of the faces of the part-timers who work at our city council meetings and also on van events, parades, concerts, you name it. We did have some service recognition. Again, at one of the previous meetings, we mentioned Bill Blonigan reached 40 years of service. Congratulations once again, Bill. And there's Al Matson presenting Bill's 40-year plaque that he's using as a paperweight at home. And we list, at least with photos, the people who got to the 25-year mark. With David Dobrin here, the person on the right with the gray sweater, he is does all of our graphics. If you see any graphics on any of our news programs or other things, I mean, he pretty much does a lot of that beyond sports graphics, which is different. But anything that is done from a news perspective, that would be David. And congratulations on his 25 years. And then Chris Trudeau, who has been a photographer of ours for 25 years. Also recognize Mary LaHaye for her 2 years on the board, Devray Frost, Jonathan Lykeset, 5 years respectively, and then Delane Cleveland, our reporter, for 10 years, and Trudy Radnicki, 15 years of working with the organization. So congratulations to them. You see the news section here in the report. And again, Shannon wrote this section here talking about the flexibility and making sense of confusing situations with not only all the COVID things, but the things happening from a law enforcement standpoint and things happening with the riots and the protesting happening in Brooklyn Center. There was special news coverage here. Do want to point out that we did get somebody who was very, this is one that we're quoting in this particular report, but the news coming out of Brooklyn Center was confusing at times, for people. And so they turned to CCX Media to get a better understanding of things in that regard. And again, as the network stations, the local network stations and the national network stations come to town and, cover the, maybe the riot aspects of things, they pack up and leave, but we're always here to do follow-up stories. And that's what I take pride in of our news staff. It's not just what happened now. Now what are we going to do? How is the city going to heal and those types of things for the long term? So because we've been here for 40 years covering the city of Brooklyn Center, so we have a good idea of the history and the people in the city. So here's some other special coverages that we did on road rage and crime, rising crime in the suburbs. Special story on this Redmond's popcorn guy. This is a small business operating out of New Hope. They picked up a clip, the Stephen Colbert show on CBS picked up a clip of ours and saw this and then made an ad for this person. And all of a sudden business just went crazy, and it's a really silly ad and fun to watch, but it just goes to show the reach that you can have in a digital environment. If we were strictly on cable channels alone, a lot of these things would have never been seen. Once you're on the internet, everybody can see it. And then these are the franchise segments that Shannon and her team work on all the time. The Newsmaker segment, which is relatively new thing, where it's more of a in-depth sit-down interview with various newsmakers. Some of these others franchise segments were not. I guess there'd be quite a bit in terms of output because of the schools and having issues with COVID and getting into the schools and that type of thing. So the standout student, the school spotlight, we didn't do as many last year as we would have done in the past. We do business matters, the weekend showcase. A lot of that was done by Neil Persley, who's out. But Takeout Tuesday too, that's a big deal. People like to, some of our restaurant segments that we do just take off in a very big way because everybody seems to have to eat at one point. So they like watching those segments. Here's some various awards we've received. These were ones that we received in 2021 for the previous year. That's how all the awards are done. But I'm not going to read them all, but they're all right there for you to see. I mentioned election coverage. Shannon and the team put together, basically there were a couple of races, 4 races total with the city of Golden Valley, as well as Wayzata School District. We had a special election for the Brooklyn Park mayor, and you can see some page count views there in terms of our election coverage. Sports is big. That's a picture of our director, Isaac Rice, who directs a lot of the sporting events, community events and parades. That's a scene from within the truck. And they basically, with John Jacobson, so Isaac works as a director for on-location events. John, Jay, and Jason work on sports casts, sports stories, sports spotlights. And then, of course, we did 134 high school games, 8 graduations, and 3 community parades last year. And so quite a bit going on there. We always have the CCX Media Sports Hall of Fame. The wall is filling up along the hallway we have in the building here. It looks quite impressive. Here are some of the new people inducted into the Hall of Fame. Cities, that's a photo of Chris O'Connor. Many of you will recognize him. He edits a lot of, produces edits, and then sometimes is on the air, of course, too, where he does stories with the cities, works directly with the cities for the Connection program, and works on the mayor's minutes. Of course, Tim Gaffron and his team cover all the council meetings, and there's planning meetings and EDA, HR meetings and forums. So there's a lot that goes on with doing all the live meeting coverage, and then of course going back and forth from in person to having like hybrid meetings and that type of thing. Tim was also involved with the Granicus web streaming encoder replacements with Jamie and Sean, who worked on those projects. Our Plymouth Council chamber broadcast replacement was completed in February of last year. Golden Valley project was on hold, but is now new bids have gone out, and construction work is expected next month. And Brooklyn Center and New Hope both added hybrid meeting capability to their council chambers. And then we talked about the Connection and special city programmings. Again, this is a lot of what Dave and the Connection team do with the city videos. There were 188 of those made, 48 Mayor's Minute segments, 23 Maple Grove Report shows, and 51 New Hope City updates. And if any city is interested in doing a special update from their city, certainly Dave is more than willing to work with your city to have special update shows, either with your mayor or whoever city manager. And there you see some of the pictures of the Connection and special city programming. We mentioned events. We did some summer productions, concerts in the park, parades, Our Town Story. Dave is in the final stages of getting this working with the Crystal Historical Society and doing their history program. A lot of progress was made in 2021, so we're anxious to see that program come to fruition. And then the Create staff has been busy doing training with the public on making programs, and they're back to doing classes again with more of a group versus individual side classes. And Dr. Rashida Watts was involved with the Create department in doing some very impressive 1-minute segments on diversity, which were very well received and actually shared throughout the country and being played on other systems all over the USA. So hats off to Dr. Watts for all the work she put into that, and the Create staff, as well as the Creative Services Department, who worked on that as kind of a co-project. Then here's some of the Create people, some pictures of people working in Create with Javier and Trudy, and there's Paul Nato, one of the new board members, pointing directly at us in that picture to the right. And they had basically 363 hours of programming last year. CCX Studios is basically something that was created in the last couple of years when we branched out to diversify our revenue. And the Creative Services Department staff works to create projects that are part of the branding under CCX Studios. And they brought in nearly $50,000 in for hire projects. And you can see the breakout of this wheel of, which groups we worked with: nonprofits, small business, education, government, and media companies. So that's a good cross section there. And then here you see some of the client list of groups we've worked with. And certainly if you know of any other folks that need some very high quality professional videos made, please point them our way, because we'd love to work with these groups in the community versus and doing this at rates that are more reasonable than what they'd pay outside this organization. And as we start to get towards the end of this report, we have the digital media report. You see the CCX media website stats. 2020 will always be kind of an asterisk year because that is when COVID hit. And that's when basically the lockdowns were in place and a lot of people were at home. So that's why we had a record number of website visits of 1,704,000. But with that said, we I thought for sure it was going to go way, way, way down, but we ended up with 1.2 million, still more than double of what we had in 2019 pre-pandemic. So we're very proud of those numbers. I don't think you're going to see anything close to those numbers in any other community television center, both here in Minnesota or around the country. So hats off to our digital team and all. And again, in all of this, it all boils down to content. If you don't have content, none of this people watch content. So it starts from there, and then it has to be distributed. And we have a pretty good system set in place to do that. And one way is through CCX Media email subscriptions. We are now up to 6,553 people who get our email blast. Most of you are familiar with this, and most of you are probably on that list, where we send out email links with video clips that you just click on subject matters that's most important to you. If you just want to see what's happening, if you live in Plymouth and you just want to see what's happening in Plymouth, well, you can subscribe to just Plymouth information and news. And so that was developed several years back, and that system has proven to be very successful. Of course, social media is still very important for us. We continue to grow followers, and that's a good sign of engagement too. The more people you have following your Facebook page, and right now we're over 13,000 followers and growing. So that is very nice to have. We have a great partnership with the city, each of the cities, where our clips are put on some of the city's Facebook pages, and 536 of those video clips were sent out to the cities, which resulted in over 300,000 video views from the city. So again, we want to thank the cities for your partnership in that. And again, anytime you want any help in that regard, we have people on staff that can help with that, but our goal is to always make it as simple as possible for the cities. YouTube. Again, many, many years ago, we started putting our content on YouTube. And again, 2020 was a big year. That's a lot of views, but I do need to point out that a lot of these views are national audience. It's not, don't look at those views saying, well, that's all Northwest Suburbs. In fact, the vast majority is from all over the country. People are tuning in mainly to sports. And, but, once you put things on YouTube, it goes all over the world. So those are basically click counts on all of our video views for last year and then the previous years. Other digital platform views, Facebook, we had about 866,000. Now that when you look at views, that is a little more. I mean, yes, you can get some national views on that, but a lot of that is more. It's more geared towards local people subscribing to our Facebook page, and so that would be more of a local audience. And then the city, we mentioned the city Facebook pages, Twitter, and then some of our live stream and Granicus videos. Total views across all platforms are listed here. And then I know all the cities are interested in this page and the next page. These are all the meetings we covered in each one of your cities. And whether it's council, planning, EDA, HRA, other, and a grand total of 433 for all cities combined. And then the actual views. So you can see, you can break it out by each city. Video views, again, measured in 2021. Of course, those numbers could go higher if for anybody looks at old clips. We have a cutoff date of when we capture these numbers, but it doesn't mean that people don't go back and look at some of the meetings. Say if it could be in January or February, they want to go look back at a meeting in November or December. So anyway, that is reflective of all the views there across the board, which is 30,844 views. And again, I always tell people, when you may not have a lot of people sitting in your council chambers, right? But always remember, that there's people watching online somehow or on the channels. This does not represent channel viewership because we don't have any way of measuring that, but we have a pretty good idea that most of the viewership is coming from online because we have that interactive feature where people can just watch the segments they want to watch. Some supplemental information, that's just happens to be a picture of our fleet of vehicles on the front there with our 3 trucks and 5 cars. Myself, Dave, Wendy, and Tamisha went out to Free Bikes for Kids. What an amazing nonprofit organization in Brooklyn Center. They actually are currently in the old Brooklyn Center Target store. And they had, I don't know, what did they say? I don't know, at the time, there was like 15,000 bikes with it. I mean, they're just packed solid. And we were on the cleaning team and we cleaned quite a number of bikes. And then the whole thing is volunteer. They have volunteer mechanics that fix them. And it's an amazing group there, and they're always looking for volunteers. They distributed over 100,000 bikes last year or so far. Their goal is to distribute 1 million bicycles by 2025. See pictures of Janina Posner and Roberta Reindorf being interviewed for our diversity initiative video. And of course, this is a picture of myself and Michelle Purdue, one of the volunteers. She authored a book she was very proud of called Rise and Shine, and a book that is about overcoming obstacles for young girls and things. So it's a very, very well-written book, and congratulations to one of our volunteers who wrote that book. So this is an interesting set of pictures here. I think we let you all know at the end of the year, and then when the segment came on, they used our studio for basically a filming recreation scenes of a news studio and then also a news office. And this team, this company paid us to use our facilities for a day in December. And the program aired. I actually watched it. It was like some of the clips are like right at the very beginning of the show. The program aired on the ABC 2020 program. It was a 2-hour special on the disappearance of Jody Husentrud, who is still has not been found. She was a Mason City, Iowa news anchor. She's originally from Minnesota. So sad story there. We had some capital improvement projects that Jamie worked on from our staff. Our building in the back that houses our trash enclosures was totally crumbling from the initial one that was built in the 80s. And so we had a new one built, and this one will help keep the squirrels out and everybody else out. We also had some air conditioning unit added on the top of the building. We had quite a bit of concrete work. Again, with the aging of the building, there's quite a bit to fix over time. And then we had some internal things as well. And finally, a couple of things. This is just to say, I'm retiring after 40 years. Yes, that's a picture of me. That black and white picture was much skinnier back then. I think I even had a mustache, but so I've gained a few pounds, a few other things over the years. But actually, I'll be ending overall a 42-year career because I started in Fridley for the cable company, and have been with the Northwest Suburbs ever since. I was the first employee hired to get the studios built back in 1982. We built hub site studios in some of our suburbs, and then ultimately consolidated everything down to one facility. You can actually see the original franchise brochure that was done by, at the time it was called Northern Cablevision, which was really a subsidiary of Store Cable, in which I worked for, as well as Dave and Tim for a while. And then there's Greg Moore, who was the executive director for many years. And I am thankful for Greg and all the work he did in those early years and getting set up when I was the assistant executive director and general manager. But Greg did a great job with getting in several franchise negotiations with the executive committee, and then all the buildings that we ended up getting built over time. And I want to thank the commission and board administrative assistants I've worked with over the years. They're all listed there. Some of you I've worked with spent a lot of hours working with several of you, which I've pointed out in my letter there, and thankful for all the administrative assistance I've gotten on these meetings with both Jerry Hankins, Sandy Doberstein, and Wendy Brierly, and thank Wendy for all of her work on these manuals here. Here is definitely an interesting thing I want to point out as we start to wrap things up here, is that the historical timeline that we put together that goes back to 1979, and actually, in all reality, even goes back further when both Ray Ray Stockman and John Irving we talked about an initial 4 cities to do cable franchising. Eventually, it got to be where by 1979 they said, "Hey, let's bring in more cities. Let's make this a bigger, better system if we're going to go out and do requests for proposals for franchises in our cities." And that's what happened in 1979. And then 1981, a revised joint powers agreement was approved. Cable construction began, and then they made the strong commitment to community programming. I'm not going to read through all these things, but you have a good idea of, again, it's not all inclusive. These are just some things that we've written down over the years, and there's so many other things, but tried to get it down to like a 2-page timeline of various key things that have happened throughout the years. So you see all those things there and some old pictures. And then we have the list of the cable commissioners from 1980 to February of 2022, broken down by each city. So it's great to kind of look back, and you'll see some names you may not even know, depending. Some you will. You go, oh, I remember Walter Face from the city of Robbinsdale, or I remember Jack Umlin from the city of Brooklyn Park. So there's quite a few there over the years. And so again, thanks to Wendy for doing all the research on these names. We have the same thing with the board of directors, all the people who worked on with the board of directors over the years. Impressive list of people. And again, Wendy had to do a lot of research, maybe even search back on some onion skin typewritten paper that goes way back before we even had computers, because when we started this organization, there were no computers. I was happy when we bought our first IBM Selectric typewriter. I thought we won the lottery then, and a lot has changed since then. So there's the listing of the board of directors. Here's some of the administrative staff over the years, and a listing of all the cable companies for the last 40 years. And just a fun way to end the report. These guys here, these turkeys, they're around our facility quite often in all parts of the year. I'll tell you a quick story. I tend to get here early, and one morning I heard this tapping on my window, and I thought somebody was like, I don't know what was going on, but I just almost jumped out of my seat. I thought, oh my God, it's, because it was dark. And then I thought, well, maybe somebody's just playing a game or whatever. And and I kept hearing it, but I didn't see anything. So I went outside, and here's a turkey that's tapping on my window, because we have our windows are at this very low thing. But these guys are around all the time. We welcome them. I especially like the picture off to the left, full-blown turkey view there. And again, thank you to all the contributors of the report, and Wendy for putting this all together. There's a lot of information there. Again, it's printed and digital. This will also be sent out to the mayors who are not on our board, and some city managers. And so basically, that's it in terms of the annual report, Madam Chair. And then we can go on to the next item, or if there's any questions anybody has on the annual report.
A great report, Mike.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, great report. Lots of fun history there.
Thank you. And thanks to the entire staff that helped put it together. And it's a great way to look back and have kind of more of a permanent history of what's gone on. I kind of wish these were done in the very early days. It would have been fun to look back. And we have history, but if we would have had things like this back in the early 80s and to look back, it would be phenomenal to see some of those. But we do have some old newsletters and things that are kind of fun to look at too, and some old black and white pictures of staff, yours and truly here with, again, back when I was skinny and had a mustache and 1970s type eyewear. So those are the fun ones to look at. But thank you.
Okay, our informational items, diversity initiative update.
Yeah, I make this really quick. Dave and Shannon just prepared a brief update just for you to read and about the Diversity Minute program, as well as a community advisory board that Shannon will be putting together. Certainly, is there, if anybody has any questions on that, because I know we're running out of time here, we'd be, Shannon or Dave would be more than happy to answer those. I guess not. So, Madam Chair.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the diversity minutes myself, so keep going with those.
Thank you. Thanks to staff for working on that.
Okay, retirements.
Yes, Madam Chair, that's you too. Like I said, there's something in the water in Robbinsdale, New Hope, Brooklyn Park. Marcia Glick announced her, our chair, announced her retirement, and we mentioned Kirk earlier. Marcia has been on the board for 24 years and served as board chair since 2011. So with her retirement, she'll be ending, her last meeting will be in May, and so we'll need to determine a new board chair at that meeting. But I personally want to thank Marcia for all of her work and working with her for 24 years, almost a quarter of a century. If you just stay one more year, Marcia, we can get to that point. But
that's okay.
And then again, Kirk McDonald, we talked about, served on both he served on the commission, but he also served on the board for 9 years. And we're thankful for both Marcia and Kirk for their service. And I'm sure they will be recognized at there's Marcia. Thank you, Marcia. And thank you, Kirk, for your service. And really, that is, I guess I have to figure out how to stop share here. There we go. That's pretty much all I have.
I have something I'd like to bring up. Mike, I personally would like to thank you so much for your hard work and dedication and commitment to Northwest Cable Television, CCX Media. And I would personally like to thank you from the city of Golden Valley, my dad, for all your work to further his dream and make it a reality. I mean, he loved you guys and he loved the commission. He was so proud of it. And for me, I'm proud of it too, because he left a legacy, not only in Golden Valley, but with CCX Media. And for myself, thank you so much for everything you've done. You're going to be greatly missed, but want to wish you the best of luck and hope you come back and see us. And I know you'll probably keep up with some of us, but thank you so much for all the years that you gave to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Joni, for doing that. Anything else? And again, Mike, this is your last meeting. How come you don't have to come back in May?
Exactly. That's a good point. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll make a cameo appearance. Who knows?
There you go.
Come to the May meeting, because the goal is to have the May meeting back in the studio. So, boy, I really miss those days having our meetings there, at least with the free coffee and the donuts.
I miss the treats.
I'm sorry, Al.
I don't.
I miss the treats.
Oh, the treats. Yeah. So, but that is the plan. And again, I'm just thankful for all. If I don't get a chance to get to the May meeting, I'm just thankful. I think I tried to do it best in this report and explain, my gratefulness. Never took anything here for granted, but certainly very thankful for all the staff here. So.
Yeah.
Mike, I appreciate everything you've done. You and I have worked together for many, many years, so it's been fun. Thanks for all you have done.
Thank you, Al.
And we've come a long way with our history. Go ahead, Kirk.
Thank you for everything that you've done, Mike. Will you be having a farewell event at CCX?
I have. If there is one, I guess there. Oh wait. Oh, Dave.
The staff says yes.
Oh,
There will
I think
be.
there is one.
I think
There
it
will
would
be.
I think it
Will
would
there
be
be
nice if there was
invitations?
a little send off
Yes.
for you.
We'll be getting everything out to everybody.
All right.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Wendy's got a big extravaganza planned.
Yeah, well, there's a committee of us doing it.
I think they're planning like Ritz crackers and that spray on canned cheese. You know, we've got to
Yeah.
keep it under budget here. You know how conservative I am with trying to keep our money in line here. So,
But baby corns.
yeah, those little baby corns. Sure, we could go with that.
Mike,
All right,
I know,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I didn't get to work with you very long, but I know that Helen absolutely valued her relationship with you over the years, and you did a lot for all of our member cities, so thank you for your service.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you.
Anybody else? I had to laugh when I saw the history list that you bought your first computer in 1985. And here we are today. So we've come
All
an
on
awful
computers. Yeah.
First one, 1985.
It's amazing. I could even tell you the model and how much storage it had, because it was just like, it's crazy where we've gone technically in this whole organization, and just how it's gone from the very beginning to where we are now. And again, thank you all. And I'm sure I'll have a chance to say thank you again now that I'm hearing rumors there is something being planned. So this isn't goodbye, but I am starting to tear up. So I got to get off the air here soon, because it's not going to be good if you see me cry on the air, and I'm already crying. So the sooner we adjourn, the better.
Okay, then I would make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second it, Joni Clausen.
Thank you.
All right, moved and seconded and roll call.
Risika Adigasson,
Aye.
Ann Norris,
Aye.
Cheryl Weiler, Al Mattson,
Aye.
Kirk McDonald,
Aye.
Riley Grams,
Aye.
Emily Kastner,
Aye.
Marcia Glick,
Aye.
Joni Clausen,
Aye.
Daryl Sanis,
Aye.
Roberta come back. Paul Nato.
Aye.
All
Okay.
right.
Mike, one comment, the executive committee will meet after the commission meeting and the board of directors meeting, but we zoom out and then
We zoom back in.
zoom back in with the executive committee.
Okay. Yep. That's all set.
A
So-
reminder at the executive committee. All right, thank you.